Hey everybody, I hope you're having an awesome day. So, my buddy Nate over at Dubs Cards has been ripping a lot of cards. He's a big set builder, and I'm a big set builder, so I tend to gravitate to set builders because I understand the pain and the frustration. Plus, sometimes it's easy to work out trades and just kind of help people fill sets when I can. Because as we know, set building is a team sport. It's a lot easier. Because who wants to pay, you know, on COMC $1 for some common card, or it's $2 if you get it on eBay. It's better to just hook up with people who've got a bunch of extras and then do some swapping. Everybody can help each other out because the cards aren't worth much, but it costs more to fill those sets, and there's nothing like finishing a set. I'm telling you, the completionist in me loves that. Lately, he's been ripping some 1988 Leaf. And I got to talking to him about it because I don't think I've ever ripped 1988 Leaf. A ton of 1988 Donruss, but never Leaf. And I was thinking, you know what? It's kind of like OPC, where it wasn't in Texas. I don't ever remember seeing it. My friends didn't have it, so there was no swapping when I was a kid. And it was just like, why? Why is that? I never sat to really think about it because those really weren't on my radar. I mean, I liked my Donnie baseball Leafs, but besides that, I just never tried to complete the Leaf set just because I never saw them. Just like OPC, like when you saw an OPC card, even if it was like some generic common card, you're like, oh, it's an OPC. It's like because you just never saw it, you know. But I got to talking to him, and I'm like, I don't really know the difference. I just kind of assumed that it was a lot like OPC, where it was the exact same set, but with a different label on it. Now, OPC is Topps, and I don't know the full history, but my understanding is that they were producing OPC. Topps was producing OPC in Canada as the exact same set, and they were just distributing up there. And I guess probably you could get it up in the northern states, in the big cities, but it wasn't something that made it down here. I was wrong. Donruss Leaf, very different. So I did a little digging, and I found some fun facts. So hopefully I'll have some images here for you. But here we go. Donruss 1988, 660 card set, base set. Normal junk era set that doesn't raise any alarms. Just like whatever. Leaf, 264 cards. That is a big difference. So apparently Leaf was made in the USA, but really geared towards the Canadian market. So had the Expos and the Blue Jays, and then basically the teams that were close to the border. And I don't have all of them listed out, but I assume it's like the Mariners, Boston, the Cubs, probably the White Sox, although who cares about the White Sox? Just kidding. Frank Thomas, come on. Baltimore, Yankees, of course, Mets, just all those cold states. I think they probably all got some play. I tried to do a apples to apples comparison, and there are so many different variations of the Topps cards because of all the misprints and stuff. It was really cumbersome to try to count them all out. But I do feel like there were more options still for those cities in the Donruss set than there are in the Leaf set. But I'll get to that in a second. Both sets still have Diamond Kings. Both sets still have the rated rookies. Now, part of the reason why the Donruss set is bigger and I think had more options for the Canadians and the Northern is because they have the MVP set, which is a great set. Those are the numbers BC 1 through 26 for those who keeping count at home. Leaf didn't have those. Leaf worked in 2 of the MVP cards, George Bell and Tim Raines. I think Tim Raines was with the Expos back then, into like their regular set, where the Donruss set had them as an insert set. So that was interesting. So only 2 instead of 26. They both have the Stan Musial puzzles. And the Donruss set also had a mail-in set, the Super Diamond Kings, which were 5x7s. Those are pretty rad. And that was a mail-in set. There's 26 of those, and there's no Don Mattingly, so that wasn't on my radar either, because if there's no Don Mattingly in the 80s, what are you doing? Yeah, it wasn't much of a set, I guess. Also, there were 2 Dick Perez art cards. And you might remember Dick Perez is a pretty famous artist, and I always think of him as a comic book artist, but he had some really cool baseball cards too. But there was a George Bell number 213 and a Tim Wallach number 255 that were unique to the Leaf set. And those are called, quote, Canadian greats. Those just weren't in the US set, the Donruss set. And then also I thought it was interesting that the 1988 Donruss set, Leaf set, was the very last time that they did this. And you're thinking, well, I know Leaf continued on, but this was the last time. They only did 4 years. This was the last year that they did the, like the Canadian set being a version of the American set. Later in 1990, they came out with Leaf, and that was like their premium product. And that was the same on both sides of the border. So that 88 was the last time they separated it like that. So I thought that was interesting too. I liked Leaf a lot growing up. In fact, this week I've been putting together this 91 Leaf set. They're decent looking cards. They're great for TTMing. I just like building junk. That's all it is. I like those ball players. Those are the ball players I grew up watching and idolizing, following, and seeing at the ballpark. And just, when I put together these junk sets that are worth nothing, it still makes me happy, because it makes me feel like a kid sitting on my bedroom floor back when that wouldn't hurt. And yeah, my butt getting cold on the linoleum and cards spread out everywhere. It brings back memories for me. But I thought that was just a fun little look at the difference between Donruss and Leaf. Shout out to Nate. I hope you stop by. I'm going to put his link there. You should stop by and see what he's doing. He's doing some good stuff. And yeah, it's just fun when collectors hook up. And that is it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk with you later. Bye.
Whether you think you're a nerd or not, why don't you just come down here and join us, okay? Come on.